What's going on, everybody? 10:03 on the Fan. This is the Tiki and Tierney Show. Pretty fun game, right? Pretty weird game. Pretty exciting game. The Mets just, wow. This is, the Mets. No, I'm not saying the Yankees are anything special either, although they did get the win. And it was definitely a fun game. There's no doubt about that. But, I think that Met fans need to start kind of reshifting their focus, because when I hear Met fans, they talk about the season, they'll still reference the Braves. Though they'll acknowledge the Braves are better, they mention the Braves, they mention the Dodgers. Can I just alert everybody, right now the New York Mets have the 11th best record in the NL. You need to start worrying about the Cubs and the Rockies and the Nationals. The Mets are a lot closer to the bottom of the NL than they are at the top. That's simple.
No, it's very simple. Now, this game was interesting because it was entertaining. There's a lot of runs scored.
Yeah, it was fun.
Depending on who you were rooting for, you felt moments of height and elation. Like, this is awesome.
Yep.
And then on the converse, an inning or so, whatever, later, you were like, oh, what in the hell was that? This game was very entertaining, yet extraordinarily ugly. Both pitchers, starting pitchers, Sevy, we talked about it. When he hits 98, he's fine. He hits 95, the thing is out of here. Mm-hmm. And Nimmo went yard, first batter. He stabilized a bit, but not really. After he gave up 5 runs. And Scherzer was just god-awful. Anthony Volpe has a get-right game on Max Scherzer.
And the official score, he should have had 1 hit, let's be honest.
But whatever, it is what it is. But he changed his batting stance.
He did.
He closed it a little bit.
Yep.
Whatever. He has this get-right game against Max Scherzer. This game was entertaining, but it was terrible when you really dig into it. Both these teams have issues. Obviously, the Mets are the one that we're going to focus on because they've now lost, 9 out of 10 or whatever it is. They've been so bad. And if you don't have an ace, and they don't right now, you don't have a starting pitcher, any of them, who you trust to go 4, 5, 6 innings, you cannot win in Major League Baseball. You can't. Max Scherzer is staked, and you texted me this in the middle of the game, staked a 5-1 lead, and he gets knocked out an inning later.
That was pathetic, actually.
It's the shell of Max Scherzer that is getting paid $43 million to be the ace, or at least one of the aces on this team. And if the Met fan thinks that anything is going to get better or change, they are sorely mistaken. He can't find it.
I don't think that they think that it's going to change.
And if he can find it, he can't find it consistently.
Yeah, and when he does find it, you have to worry if the offense is showing up. If the offense shows up, you got to worry if the defense is going to catch the baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. Isn't that the problem with the Mets? Let me ask you a question. When you are, and I just think the Mets are a bad team. Now, they're not bad with Pete. Pete changes things, but they weren't particularly good with Pete. So let's not just make this about Alonso not being there.
Mm-hmm.
The Mets issues started before Alonso got hurt. But what are the characteristics of a bad team? Multiple, easy to identify deficiencies.
Yeah.
Right? And isn't that the Mets?
Yeah, you're not searching through the statistics or
you don't need to. Just watch them.
Or examples. Well, this pitcher did this on this day 3 weeks ago, and that's going to indicate that they're not going to go anywhere. You see it every night.
Just watch them play.
Every night,
Yep.
Something implodes. And, last night, you could tell that this meant something to both of these teams. Like, you could tell. Like, from the outside looking in, I said yesterday, this game has no juice. Like, Judge isn't playing. Alonso's not playing. Yankees are 4 out of their last 10. Mets are, 1 out of the last 9. They've been terrible, right? So the game didn't have juice. But it was interesting once it happened because all the runs that were scored, the big moments that happened.
Yeah.
But when you take the 30,000-foot view of that game, it was ugly as hell. Sevy got beat around, Scherzer got beat around, and both teams went through 6 relievers.
And both teams kicked the ball around.
6 relievers, 12 pitchers outside of the starters. So think about that.
Oh, yeah.
There's another game today, by the way.
Yeah.
Right? So what are we doing here? You better hope that, Garrett Cole goes 7-8 innings or Verlander goes 7-8 innings because the game tonight could be even uglier. And that's an indication of where both these teams are. But obviously, we talked about the team that lost this game and is in a gross spiral and doesn't seem to have the player, the manager, the whatever to get out of it right now.
Well, they don't have the talent. I mean, they just don't have the talent. I mean, the manager's one thing. I don't have a massive issue with Buck.
There was nothing that you can get on him specifically last night.
I mean, I will say this: if you're not going to pinch hit Vogelback and let Guillorme hit in that spot, what the hell? Honestly, what is Vogelback on the team? That's kind of an Epler thing, but in game, that's a Buck thing. I'm not saying Buck's been perfect. We talked about him a lot this year. We've got a lot of respect for Buck. I think he's had a little bit of an up and down season. There's been some baffling decisions, but for the most part, it's really just the team that he has to trot out there every night is not good enough, and that gets me to Lindor. Now, I don't care who you are in baseball history. Vintage A-Rod, Keith Hernandez back in the day, Mattingly pre-back injury, Jeter, Piazza, David Wright, Bernie, any big-time, recent New York luminary, right? Reggie before that. You're going to whiff. You're going to strike out with the bases loaded. You're going to have nights where, and he's had far too many, but that's not even the point. I'm not going to pile on Lindor. I want to really take apart his one at-bat, though, because the other stuff I've talked about forever. Yeah. His approach was broken last night. Absolutely broken. And it was so selfish. See, I'm watching Lindor and I'm saying, and maybe this is the wrong read. And if it is, then I sincerely apologize. But this is what I thought about in real time. Francisco Lindor is more concerned about being the hero than he is not about doing his job. That's an oversimplification, but modifying his approach to do his job properly. You're swinging from the heels 3-2 with the bases juiced in that situation?
Yeah.
You got to put the bat on the ball, dude. And I get it when things go awry and you hear some boos, as you heard. I think that was the Toronto series, right? And obviously more and more and more Met fans are seeing and saying what I've been seeing and saying for a while. So he's feeling that. He's hearing that. Last couple of games, Friday night in Pittsburgh, he really addressed the media when he didn't, realize the speed of the runner. Mental gaffe, he owned it. He owned it again last night. But eventually there's an expiration point on how many times this guy's going to own it, and he's just got to start doing his job for the amount of money he's paid. Now, if he hit, I don't know, a two-hopper to the left side that was hit well, and you could tell that he's grinding just to make contact. He can't get on the guy. It's baseball. Clay Holmes was filthy at that point.
Yep.
Ask Marte as well. And I actually thought Clay Holmes got squeezed the first pitch or two to Lindor. Okay, we could debate that, but it doesn't really matter. But his approach was broken. And to me, he is a baseball player right now. Not that he's never going to hit another home run or have a 3-for-4 game. Of course he is. He's 28 years old. He's got talent. But if without Pete Alonso, if the Met fans are expecting Francisco Lindor to save their season, you may as well meet this team at the cemetery because they're dead. They're dead at that point. He's not that guy.
The ability to be clutch seems to have left this team, and it's the guys that are being paid. This is obviously Scherzer and others that are being paid. Lindor is another. The guys that you are counting on to be your stars, they're not playing like stars, and you're not going to win that way. And you're right. You basically said this, one of the worst teams in the National League right now. Record-wise, they're actually proving that that's the case.
They've got the 11th best record in the NL. Stop worrying about the Braves and Dodgers. Start making sure that you stay ahead of the Cubs and the Rockies. Honestly.
Record-wise, that feels like the case, but night to night, eye test wise, it also feels like the case.
And that's the distressing part.
Yes.
You're right. You can watch a team and say, man, I know we're better than this.
Yeah.
This isn't us. Well, this is the Mets.
Well, what was it we talked about a week ago? The Mets just keep finding ways to lose. It's not all the same. It's not everything happening, bad pitching, bad hitting, no hitting, errors. It's all every night it feels like something different happens for them to lose a baseball game.
And why did I start referring to them as what did I start saying about 2 weeks ago? Step on a whack-a-mole time.
The whack-a-mole.
Honestly.
Yeah.
The offense gives you a 5-1 lead. They do a great job. The place is popping. Boom. There's the mole that pops up. You can't get it because Scherzer can't. He flushes a lead immediately down the chute. All right, maybe you try to stabilize that up. Suddenly we can't catch the baseball. Brandon Nimmo in center. There's another mole. Suddenly our stars don't do anything. There's another mole in clutch spots. There's just so many problems. And by the way, I know that it wasn't like they were outside of DJ shot. There were some flares. There was some serendipitous moments last night for the Yankees, but the Yankees showed great heart, and that needs to be said. You know, I didn't have an issue with, I think that you did. Well, actually, Hoff and I were talking about this morning. I actually liked what Boone did with Severino because you got to try to build him up.
I didn't mind it.
I did not mind it at all.
Early. By the way, they went through 6 pitchers instead. But still, I didn't mind holding him in there despite giving up 5 runs.
There was enough game left where if it went sideways and it gave up a hit, obviously, you can maybe recover against an awful Mets bullpen. Plus, you've got to try to build this guy back up. Last few starts have been wretched. A guy has 2 balks in an inning. They said it, it may have been Cohen. I like to go back and forth with the S and SNY when they play each other. But Cohen, I don't think it was Cohen. I'm pretty sure it was Cohen. That the last time a Yankee had 2 balks in the game, it was Hideki Irabu. Hideki Irabu in 1997.
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
His head was spinning. But the Yankees get a win, and you know the Mets just they look busted right now. 877-337-6666. Tiki and Tierney on the Fan. Fun game otherwise. A little wacky stuff for sure. All right, we're inside of our Town Fair Tire studio. Friends at Town Fair remind you that you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. All right, let's start with Brad and Mineola. What's going on, Brad? How you doing today, buddy?
Hey, guys. I called last year after that whole collapse with Atlanta. I've called to talk about the Giants and everything like that. But I'll be honest with you. Last night, I had to laugh. Otherwise, I would have cried.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the truth. When we had met on 1st and 3rd in the 8th inning, I said to my now wife, I said, we're losing this game. I said, we're not going to score a run here. The Mets just don't have it. There's no heart. There's no nothing. The analytics puts these lineups together. It doesn't matter. You said with Pete, it's different. Absolutely.
A little.
With Pete, it's different. The Mets, a little bit.
Yeah.
The Mets lost their heart in Atlanta. And now he's out for 4 to 6 weeks. At the end of the day, we're going to have the 15th best record in the National League, and this Met team is not it. Scherzer's done. JB's done. There's no such thing as a bullpen because we're never getting to Robertson, who actually pitched well, but in Atlanta, it looked like he was ready to give it up. He was breathing heavy, and it looked like he was ready to give it up.
Brad, I need a little clarification here, Brad, because I know you worked up. I don't blame you. That's a tough loss, and the Mets have been playing wretched baseball for a while. But so you said that you're watching the game with your now wife. Am I safe to assume that last night you were just fiancés and this morning you went down to City Hall and got married? What do you mean you lost me on that?
I got married three weeks ago.
Got it.
So you're still getting used to calling her your wife. You're still getting used to calling her your wife.
She's got to have a happy husband these days with the Mets.
Absolutely.
I got you.
But, man, I'll be honest, I'm a huge Met fan. They're my favorite team out of all the teams that I root for. And it's getting harder and harder to turn the game on, especially like you said, 5-1. They find a way to lose. Max is done. Who's about JV? Senga's a flash, and that's great. But when it's all said and done, they find ways to lose every single night. And if we think, like you said, that Lindor is going to do it for us, he's not. I could sell you a yacht if you think that Lindor is going to do it for us.
I got you.
Season's over, in my opinion.
Yeah.
We're not getting a wild card. Just close the book. It's done.
Hey, Hoff, you ready for that hair? Could be buzz. Appreciate you, Brad.
Huffy. Huff. I got the big shears, too. Got a long time before we have to reach for those, but last night was a punch to the gut, huh, Huff? You can't stand Scherzer. You are done with him.
I can't stand his performances. They're terrible. It's better off he goes away. I don't want to see, honestly, I know that he has an opt-in clause. He can opt out if he wants to, whatever. I really hope he has that same energy after he craps the bed again all season long. I want him gone. I don't want to see him.
There's no way he's opted out.
He better.
The problem
what is he doing?
How do you opt out of free money? You just can't. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, well,
so you're stuck with him. And that's the issue. Is it whatever this top of the rotation Mets, Verlander, Scherzer looks like? You're stuck with it. You are stuck with it. They are not getting paid anywhere close to that anywhere else. So they are opting in. You're stuck, dude.
His comments were so blah to me yesterday. He did say it starts with me, but then he kept on going back to we all have to do better.
He did.
And you know what? No, just you. You just have to do better. They did their job. I understand that Nimmo missed the ball, but by that point in time, the game was blown up because of you. It's all because of you, Max Scherzer. End the story.
I mean, it's got to be incredibly frustrating here, and it's like a broken record at this point. These alleged Mets stars are sitting there saying, well, you know, it's my fault. And Hoff is right, by the way. I didn't love that he kind of kept saying we, even though it is a we and it is a team thing.
You don't need to do that.
No, the thumb's got to go with it. You were up 5-1, dude. You flushed it down the chute. That's on you, Scherzer.
Yep.
Stop bringing we into the equation. But Lindor did it in Pittsburgh. Like, we get it, guys. You got the Mets lead the league in taking ownership by their stars after gut-punching losses. That's one thing they're incredibly good at.
But that's the problem.
They're great at that, actually.
But that's the problem.
Give a trophy.
You can tell what Buck is trying to do to this team. Now, I don't know if they're having, team meetings.
They had a meeting the other night.
And talking about this is what we're going to say.
They had a team meeting the other night.
I know. And it probably went something like this. Guys, no matter what happens, it's we. No matter what happens, we win, we have a walk-off. It's all about everybody, the team. The problem is we don't want to hear that when you have
no one cares in New York.
Disgusting losses.
Don't care.
Like you've had.
That's a high school. We don't care about that context.
Personal accountability.
Yep.
And
well, we're getting it, but then we want to see a recalibration and an actual performance. Like we want you to own it, but then you need to play better.
Yeah, this is too bad. This is 2 clunkers in a row for sure.
By the way, I've actually I heard a little bit of what Buck was saying the other night. I'm talking about lollygagging around the bases. you lollygag around the bases. Just how many Yankee fans do you think were there? When DJ hit the home run, I felt like, I don't know the exact number. It felt like there was about at least 15,000 Yankee fans. It was loud. It had juice.
I was a little surprised.
A little pop.
I was a little surprised.
Yeah.
Now, I shouldn't be because it's not like they're traveling hundreds of miles. They're going, probably not even 20.
No, but you're surprised that Met fans would not allow them in. But, I mean, yes, I guess allow them in by not buying the tickets or keeping the tickets.
Money is a very big motivator.
Yeah, but how many season ticket holders does the Mets have?
Good question. I don't know.
They have a decent
I know
amount,
they do.
but again, let me put it this way: Yankee fans tend to travel well. Even at Pete Alonso's charity event on Monday,
Did they go?
Yeah, someone was trolling.
Yankee fans?
Yes, with the
Wow.
Yankee shirt on, starting to say some trash, and we're like, "How did he get it?
Wow.
You travel that well that nothing Yankees is here but you. It's amazing."
Wow. Oh my God! Listen, it was definitely an interesting night. It was fun. It was a little weird. It was had a little bit of everything. So obviously a day of reaction. Met fans react in one way. Yankee fans, come on in. You're welcome as well. It doesn't just have to be lamenting the state of the team. You can flex a little bit, much like Met fans will flex tomorrow if Verlander does his job today. 877-337-6666. All right. So, listen, I was pumped up for this series. Everybody was telling me, no juice. No, there's plenty of juice for me. And, boy, if the Mets lose again, the juice tomorrow is going to be off the charts. I mean, they are hanging by a thread.